Good to go here?
Okay, I'm set.
Alright. I am good to go.
I just like.
We're just gonna wait. We're waiting.
Now I just need to wait for Ben.
Yeah, Ben here real quick. Okay. Alright, so.
Cross country.
Okay. And we're going to try and keep this kind of as quickly as we can and go through all the bullet points I've got. There's not many. There's 4 major ones and then a couple smaller ones inside 2 of them. We are going to be bringing some stuff up for a vote today, just for everybody that's here. For those who are going to be watching this later, and this is going to be this is being addressed directly to them when they watch it. If they have anything that they need to tell me, they can send it to me in a PM, any suggestions or whatnot. And I'll look at it and whatnot. Welcome back, Ben. You sounded like you rushed.
Hello.
All right, first topic of our first bullet point is, I know I said in a message that we were going to vote for the second series next year in this meeting, but I sent that list out to everybody, and everybody voted. We are going to be running the 2014 Dodge Vipers in the fall of next year as our second series.
Yes!
It won by 1 vote over MX-5 Cup and 2 votes over a tie for third from Subaru BRZs and Maserati KTM GT4.
MX-5, no.
Yeah. There were some that had 3, 2, some had 1 vote. There were some that didn't even get any single votes, but it will be the 2014 Vipers next year. We'll discuss its schedule here at the end, but next thing we're going to get to is the schedule for V8 supercars next year. Now, I've been told that my schedule is too long. This is
Really?
y'all's cue.
What's the schedule really that long?
It was like 3 months.
More like 4 or 5 with all and this year didn't help with all the this year didn't help with all the off weeks and scheduled off weeks and stuff, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why we have so little attendance at the end. When we started out, our highest attended race was Catalunya, but in order to kind of encourage participation a little bit more, we've shortened the schedule to 13 races. 2 ovals, 4 sprints, 3 endurance. Or sorry, 8 sprints, 3 endurance.
Okay.
Okay.
I will read off what we have tentatively for the schedule right now. Let me pull it up here. We'll start the season with the Clash like we did this year at Daytona. Pole winners of last season. Week after that, we'll go to the season opener for a points-paying race. We'll be moving to Wednesday nights because it's right in the middle of the week. The only thing it conflicts with is Toro Spec Cup, but that's only on the U.S. side.
Okay. I'm kind of okay with that. Unless,
Season will start
so,
with the Clash at March 20. And also, if y'all have anything like you want to add to any suggestions for the schedule, just chime in at any point. Season will start March 20th and run through July 24th. So, and that's basically July, June, May, April, March. But the reason it's March, April, May, June, July. The reason it's 5 months there is because we're going to do a week off before and after each endurance. Because they are such big events and a lot of prep needs to go into those. Right now, as it stands, schedule is Daytona Oval, Sonoma NASCAR, Indy GP Classic, Sebring, Hockenheim, and then we get into our Endurance Cup, Daytona, Sports Car, VIR, Bathurst. And then we go into the last 5 races of the season at Homestead Oval, Nürburgring GP, Road America, Watkins Glen GP, and Road Atlanta. And now this is where I want your all's feedback. The Winners' Showcase is still scheduled at the Nordschleife. Do you think we should change that track? That way, we can have a last chance qualifier for those who have not won a race next year to get into that event, and we're not sitting there for 20 minutes waiting for a 2-lap race to finish.
You could do the last chance qualifier on the GP circuit if you wanted to. If you wanted to keep that for nostalgia purposes.
Yeah, but it would. The thing I see there is we've already got GP on the points paying course, so I'd kind of wanted
That's right.
Yeah, maybe at a circuit that's not used on the V8 schedule.
Goodbye. Nah.
No. I'm shooting that down immediately.
I was going to say, you're asking to get punched for that one.
Hey, I've been punched before for freaking saying stupid things. And saying
You're not
things that shouldn't be in series.
You're not stupid. It's just the ideas are taken out of context. Sorry, what?
I'm sorry, what?
But yeah, I mean, is there any suggestion that everybody would want to see for the track for the Winners' Showcase?
Well, what is it on the calendar as you just mentioned? You just mentioned Bathurst.
Yeah. Now, we've got... let's see. Coda, Homestead, Lime Rock, Maple Valley, Silverstone, Catalunya, Le Mans, Big, Le Mans, Bugatti, Spa, Mugello, Monza, Suzuka, just to name a few.
I was gonna say,
Long
wouldn't
Beach,
you want to change that to?
Laguna.
Would you want to change that? Would you want to change that to just a shorter circuit, the Bugatti circuit, just to make things a bit more interesting? It's just because
That's why I said Le Mans Big and then Le Mans Bugatti. So
Okay.
it's yeah.
Okay, it's just because it's like I hear the words Big Le Mans and I hear the full Le Mans circuit and I hear V8s on it and I go, oh god, no.
I believe
No,
my car club has done that feat before.
I believe he's correct.
Anyways,
I think. I don't know.
It's like
I know we
putting-
didn't do it last
it's like
time.
putting-
The last time we reran V8s on the IDFRS. I remember that.
yeah, that was.
It might have
I
been
think before you
before.
joined.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
I mean, there are definitely some other tracks. I mean, I'm not opposed to Bernese Alps. I'm not opposed to Prague. Rio and Dubai are off limits.
But you said you're not opposed to Prague.
No. But it would have to be a consensus of everybody, or the majority.
Yeah, I know everyone likes Prague.
I could always see the short circuit being used in any case anyway.
Yeah, but the short
but,
yeah, but the short
the
circuit.
freaking- But that chicane now with the new rules makes it a big time pain in the butt for clean laps.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Well, I can say right
what is it?
now, that would only be a thing during qualifying. So, and then in the race, you can just right straight through it. The problem is with that narrow section is if one person makes a mistake and they're at the head of the line, it's a massive pileup. That's the only issue with Prague.
That's what I. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That, it happens way too often with V8s, and I like do V8 races there for strange reason enough because my friends are completely insane. But then again, I'm insane as well, so I join in on the madness sometimes.
We're insane
But
together.
yay! Thanks, man. Nah,
I'm the
but
most insane. Let's get that right all the way right now.
Stop self-promoting.
Gamertag says it all. The gamertag says it all.
Uh,
Um,
No, but now back to what I was gonna say. It's just the fact that I see that fire barrier. If that doesn't get removed anytime soon, we're gonna be probably dealing with people who overshoot that freaking chicane, hit that, and cause a major pile-up. So I do agree that it is gonna cause a major pile-up if someone, happens to fall one underneath, do the other, another, etc., etc.
yeah. Well, even with collisions on default, if they stop, I've seen default collisions not ghost somebody in time. So, or not ghost somebody at all. But yeah, there's options out there for the Winner's Showcase. Or if you all are fine with having it on the Nordschleife, just be aware of this other tad bit of information. The main event is 8 laps. But that's on the Nordschleife. If it's elsewhere, the laps can be adjusted. And we haven't run anything. We haven't run on Bernese since DTM on 4. Never ran Prague. We've never ran Laguna Seca. Well, actually, I take that back. We've run Laguna Seca, but that was back on, again, Forza 4 DTM.
Actually, speaking of freaking, I reckon that would be a pretty good course for V8s.
It is a fun lap.
I know.
I know a lot of people
it
like
is.
it, and to be honest, I hate the track with the passion. But I would be open for the Winner's Showcase being there. Because it's non-points, and that way I'm not getting as... and I know there's other people who don't really like the track either, but that's...
The only reason why I think people don't like it is because of the how tight everything can be, especially at the top. With the corkscrew, I get that. But overall,
Well, the
I
corkscrew
never had any issues at that race.
The corkscrews never bothered me. It's everywhere else on the track. Every car I drive there runs off. No matter how in tune the setup is, the sand just is like a magnet. Just, my car goes right into it.
So was the Indianapolis grass to death when we still had the classic friggin' wow.
Oh yeah, I hated that Indy sticky grass on 4. Barely touch it, you come to a stop. I hated that. Or we could run the oval of Indy, but then again, that would require a BOP.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No.
I'd rather deal with it. I'd rather deal with it with Tascar
Okay.
or stock
Thought I
racing.
put that out there.
General.
So, but the general consensus is no.
What's it, road course?
That would be
Yeah,
a good one.
I can see
but
that on
which
V8s.
rail? Which rail would you do though?
Alt.
I would do
Going
the...
with NASCAR 3 and 4 is the...
Yeah.
I'm not doing the
Yeah.
actual
Okay.
road course final turn because of the sharp left on the pit road.
Yeah,
I'd always
the
be
road course
doing
final
the...
turn doesn't make any sense.
If they would have given us the proper pit
To be
road
honest.
entry, it'd have been fine.
But Homestead doesn't even have a pit entry on the road course anyway?
Yes, it
In
does.
IOL?
It does. Yeah,
Oh,
if you
boy.
look to the left when you're driving on the course, right there's the actual pit road entry. It sprouts off, and then it's a right and then a left, but it's way off the racing line.
Ooh.
But we can
I
definitely
know,
do.
it's just...
So we got Homestead Road Course as a suggestion. We have any other suggestions on that?
Yas Marina isn't on the main calendar, is it?
No, it's not.
Sorry, I haven't been.
Yeah, but I was going to say, which route would you use? Historically,
the
V8
one
would
that-
use the north.
The corkscrew.
North
Yeah,
corkscrew.
the one. Yeah, corkscrew.
Yeah.
Because you would want the actual fucking pit line.
Yeah. Thing
And
is about
I
Yaz
do enjoy
is
that
it's
track when people race it correctly. It's a fun track, in my opinion.
yeah. They're
Rude.
yeah. All right, so we'll go ahead and put those two up for a vote. Those in favor of Homestead, say aye.
Me. I.
I...
Those in favor of Yaz,
I
Aye.
Ooh,
right.
we're deadlock.
who, and I'm the tiebreaker.
Flip a coin.
I was going to say
Or
flip a
Yeah,
coin.
I've got coin in my pocket. All right.
I trust you.
Homestead's heads.
That's what I was going to say. Homestead's
Tails
heads,
is
tails is
Yaz.
Yaz. Well, crap, it landed in the crevice of my shirt. That's not going to work.
Do we have to pick a new track now?
Nope.
Maybe.
Crap. It keeps landing in the crevice. Hang on. Let me
Is that God's way of saying nope?
let me stand up and let it hit the floor.
Try again, boys.
There's the coin.
Stop spinning, quarter.
We wait.
Alright.
About a quarter of basic laws of physics.
Yep. Okay. It's heads. So Homestead Road Course
Homestead.
is where the winner showcase will
Works for
take
me
place.
either way.
Okay. Let me change that on the schedule here. All right. And that's been changed on the schedule. So moving on to the next bullet point, it's the format of the sprint rounds. We got 8 sprint rounds, and that is Sonoma NASCAR, Indy GP, Sebring, Hockenheim, Nürburgring GP, Road America, Watkins Glen, and Road Atlanta. We have 2 options of what we can do for those. Note, whatever option we choose for V8s, we're going to do the opposite in Vipers. We can either do one race a full distance and do your 2 mandatory stops, or each sprint round will consist of 2 races, each of half distance. Personally, I like the idea of the single race with 2 pit stops.
It does
Considering-
make more sense when
yeah.
you think about the 2 different series historically when they've been run.
Yeah. And considering Daytona, you're going to have to pit anyway. Homestead, you're definitely going to have to pit. And the Endurances, you're going to have to pit. So I think it makes more sense personally to do a single race of full distance, which is normally 100 to 150 kilometers.
I can agree with that. Doing the longer races for the V8s and then splitting it with the Viper.
Okay.
Mhm.
Does everybody
That's
agree
kind
with
of
that?
That's kind of what I indicated when we discussed this earlier.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's
everybody's...
fine by me.
You good with that, Ryan?
50 full distance races.
Full distance race, 2 pit stops.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so we'll do it that way. And then Vipers will be split 2 races, each of half distance. And one more thing before we move to vote to confirm next season's schedule. Right now, Daytona, and I'm just throwing this out there because I want to hear everybody's feedback on it. Right now, it is a 200-kilometer race, which is 50 laps. You're only going to need 1 pit stop. But considering Homestead is 134, is 200 miles, and your pit strategy is going to be your own. Should we increase Daytona's distance just enough so that way if someone wants to try and fuel save and make it on 1 stop, they can? And that way pit strategy is your own there. And you're not tied to having to make 2 stops within a certain time. Because to me, that kind of... I didn't really like running Daytona that way. Or with knowing it can only be a 1-stopper, but still having to make a 2nd stop. As I said, I'm just throwing it out there to hear your all's opinion on the matter.
If I was thinking, if normally, if you're going to try and do something on the pit stop, the tires will basically try and kill you before you're going to do that, and you're going to have to go in there for tires anyway, eventually. While you're
Yeah,
also in
but
there, you're
not-
also getting fuel.
But not at Daytona Oval, though. At least not as bad there. Ow. Because I'm talking about the oval race, not the endurance race, which is your own pit strategy. Because I was thinking, I think it was... Let me see here. Because looking at this year's schedule, a single car can go 39 laps on fuel at Daytona. At least that's what I was doing. So if we made the race 80 laps, I mean, if someone wanted to save, they could.
I'm not saying it shouldn't be run like that. I'm not saying that.
Mhm.
It's just that it's either the tires
that be
or it's
too-
going to be.
Well, I said I don't think the tires are going to be an issue there because it's Daytona's historically not very hard on tires. Homestead is very hard on tires, but not Daytona. My only concern is would you all feel as if 80 laps would be too long?
80 laps of
Daytona,
about,
the oval.
so that's what? 45 seconds? I
It'd be an
felt the
hour.
race felt
It'd be an
really
hour.
The race felt really short to me.
At 50 laps?
Yeah. Because you can bang that out in less than an hour.
Because if we put it to 80 laps, It'll go from a 200-kilometer race to a 200-mile race. And as I said, a single car by themselves can go 39, 40 laps. In the
How
draft,
fast do the cars go? Around 45 seconds or so?
yeah, 45 seconds.
45
I think that was...
something.
It was either 44 or 45 with the 5% power handicap.
It's only like an hour long. It's not that long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, old cars, you can get away with doing longer laps.
Yeah, I agree. It is probably going to be an hour. Close to an hour, maybe
Mm-hmm.
2.
Yeah. So would y'all be okay with increasing it to 80 laps? That way, again, fuel strategy and pit strategy can be your own. If you
cool
want-
with it,
Again,
that's fine.
I'm personally
I'm
fine
with
with
it as well.
Okay, Ryan? All right.
Yeah.
All right. So that will be another 200-mile race. So ovals will be standard 200 miles, and then the other races will be in kilometers. Races will be no more than an hour long, except for the endurances, which will definitely be longer. All right. So we'll move to vote to confirm the schedule. Does everybody? Do I have someone second the schedule for next year?
I'll second it.
All right. Those in favor?
It's... Aye.
Yep.
Alright.
Aye.
All right. Schedule for V8s is confirmed. So we'll move on to
Our rules
Vipers.
of order up in here.
Huh?
Our rules of order up in here.
So we'll move on to Vipers. This one will take place a couple months after V8 Supercars is done. Starting September 18th. Running through November 20th, which is the week before Thanksgiving. We're not going to run longer than that. This is a 3-month schedule, considering October has 5 weeks in it.
Yeah.
100-kilometer races, all of them. The schedule we've got is Coda, Homestead Road Course, Lime Rock, Silverstone, Catalunya, Le Mans Bugatti, Spa, Mugello, Monza, and we finished the season at Suzuka. Kind of like as if they were starting out in Texas and then going towards the east around the globe.
That's a very nice setup, and I like how you have Lime Rock in the mix. It's going to be fun.
Weimar was already in this season already, wasn't it?
No.
No. It's a new
No.
track
Okay.
for next year.
Yeah. We were supposed to have Lime Rock last season, but things had to get canceled to get the season in. Yeah. And it was never put back on the schedule. So this one it'll pretty much be run kind of the same way V8s are, with the exception of, again, half distance races you don't need to pit. But what Ben suggested to me was for race 2 have a reverse grid.
Oh.
And I think we can.
Yes.
I think we can pull that off with the group that we have.
It'll
Because
give
Yeah,
those two
it was
who are doing so hot a chance.
I was going to say, probably give people a chance to, what is it? For those who've been, who didn't have the best qualifying and didn't have the best race 1, probably get a chance to sit up the front row at race 2.
and we don't have any aliens that by turn 2 they're already back up in the lead from last. So, not saying it can't happen with this group. It can definitely happen, but We don't have any. We don't have any.
Sorry.
We don't have any people who are like aliens, like Diablo or Harmonic or Knee or any of them in here. So I think it'll produce especially better racing, especially in race 2. But yeah, so
Also, what about? I just literally had this thought.
mhm.
That's a lake. That's a lake. Sorry.
For those of you watching this after the fact, Ben has been playing Forza Horizon 4 this whole time.
Same here. Same here.
And the really annoying,
right here.
the really annoying Forza Fun thing where you have to drive a bunch of hot hatches around, virtual hot hatches. So I'm driving front-wheel drive, and that doesn't make me happy. Anyway, getting back to the point I was about to make.
Get back to the point.
He digresses.
Yeah. Thoughts about passing points for that race too. I guess that wouldn't really work considering if it.
It would work, but it would be its own separate championship. You're not getting it added onto your driver points.
Yeah. In that case, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what made the series really good at Torah and trying to adapt it to here.
Yeah. Well,
Since that's
I
kind of
told
what I do.
I told Mikey at one point, and I said I don't like the fact that passing points are added to your driver points, because it lets those people who are in the lead by turn 2 in race 2 become untouchable in the driver point standings. As I said, it can be its own championship, and it will still be its own championship.
Award?
Yeah, it'll still be its own championship. Ooh, shoot.
And I just hit the wall.
But if we can, if we get, when it's streamed, we can definitely, I'm sure, Zeta, that you can mention, hey, this is how race 2 is going to work. This is who's in the lead of the Hard Charger Award.
Yeah, and again, availability. So,
Yeah.
Just usual passing the notes as I know to say. I know it looks too stupid on
I
stream.
will probably ask everybody for their email at some point. That way I can add you all to a Google Doc that has the schedules on it. You won't be able to edit it, but it will just be the schedules. That way you all know, or you can get on and say, all right, this is where we're at next week. This is, because another thing Ben mentioned to me, unless I announce it, people sometimes have no idea where we're at. I don't have a website I don't have the website modernized yet. I'm hoping to be able to work on that this week. But I've been moving and all that, I haven't been able to work on it.
You're still kinda in the process of moving, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm packing up everything
As
into the
of
trailer
this.
tomorrow. Yeah. But no, everybody's fine with the Viper schedule.
Yeah.
All right, and
There's no
rule
problem with
set
me.
and whatnot. All right. When it comes closer to time for that series, I'll release the
I
number
did want to
boxes
ask
and
one
whatnot.
question, which I just thought of. Since we are you kidding me? Put that in the shed. Sorry. How the heck are you
Breaking
forget
up
that?
for later. We're having adult time here.
Anyway, since we replaced the Winter Showcase for V8s, should we take the Homestead road course off the Viper schedule?
Well, you have different layouts for homesteads, so I don't think it'd be too much of an issue to change it to something else.
I think I still think Vipers would do good there for a points paying race, considering we're not running Homestead and V8s for points. It's just a showcase. But we could. So we still got like Maple Valley, Long Beach, Laguna.
I think Maple Valley actually might be really fun in these things. Vipers.
Carousel is turn one for sure because
come
we're
on,
not.
No, I remember what happens when you take GT cars over that track.
Shades of ASCC. AACC.
Even with the carousel as
Yeah.
turn
It's
one,
not
it's still a little bit dangerous. It's not as dangerous as going reverse with the carousel's last turn.
Who thought it was a good idea to have DP prototypes and friggin' GTs at Homestead?
I don't know.
It was mine
Whose
because it was the
idea
only
was it?
American track that we haven't used before. That would have worked for that because the other alternatives had been used to death.
Mm-hmm.
Wow! Now we now know why
I mean,
we go to the Homestead for ASCC.
Anything like that?
Okay.
It's not bad on paper until you put it in practice.
mm-hmm. Let's see here.
Actually, there was one thing I wanted to bring up if everyone's okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you want to have more people in for next year since attendance has always been a problem or participation. So I'm just curious if there are any suggestions from you guys in order to help Wind Chargers series get more people.
That's actually
Mike.
on the. That's actually on the one of my bullet points for later.
Oh. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then ignore me.
What?
I'm sorry, do you want to hear my baby?
Sorry, you were talking.
So what? What was that happening? You didn't fall asleep, did you?
Well,
Me?
okay. If we do, if we do take off Homestead, because Homestead won the toss for the Winner's Showcase, would everybody be fine with replacing it with Yaz? And putting...
Which would be people who voted for yes, but not mind.
And it would be Yaz full.
I think that's
It would
fair.
be the full GP. Okay. So the schedule will change a little bit. The Homestead round will actually move to, or what will be the Yaz round will actually move to after Monza. So it will go Coda, Lime Rock, Silverstone, Catalunya, Le Mans Bugatti,
Oh, that's the wall.
Spa, Mugello, Monza, Yaz, Suzuka.
Oh, that is the wall.
All right. And everybody is good with that.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Get out of my
me
way,
pull up
fucking
my-
bloody crotcher.
All right. So, next to last bullet point is suggestions to encourage participation. And one thing I mentioned to Ben is this is carrying something over from Upper Edge when I raced on their NASCAR game schedule. Was their provisional system. Every driver got 3 provisionals, and the first person who filed the provisional got placed behind all the cars that participated, and then every other one after him got placed in that order. But they got full points. My suggestion was half points. And the way it would work is, let's say we had 15 people registered for the series, and 12 of them showed up for the Daytona race. And let's say the 3 that missed were Colonel, Springer, and I'm just going to throw a random name out there, Chief Token Ball. Okay. Well, let's say Springer told me first, and he filed for it. He'd be placed 13th. And then whichever one out of Colonel or Chief told me next would be placed 14th, and then the other one would be placed 15th. They'd get half of 13th, 14th, and 15th place points. Or it could be to where they would get the full points, but... Or maybe not full, maybe 75% points, but not full points. Kind of rounded up to the nearest, up or down to the nearest whole point. And of course, you'd get 3 per year, but once you're out, and you don't get any points for the round. But there's that. Anybody else have any suggestions on how to encourage and keep the participation level up of those who are registered?
That's going to be a tough one because I know people do get burned out over Forza.
Mm-hmm.
That's my main concern. Is like even like what is it? Sometimes I feel the burnout because I've been playing doing racing leagues since the start of the year, and then sometimes I just feel like there's just like no point freaking continuing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so pretty much doing a lot of other events is kind of also what kills participation. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. And a lot of us, well, pretty much all of us, we race at Tora and Seasoned Gamers and V8X, Delta, WRL, a litany of other places. And I can see where you're coming from, Ryan, that the more that you can feel burnout. I've felt burnt out this year. It's not helped with the fact that I'm moving, but
I didn't want to feel
miss.
burnt out this year, but I didn't want to feel burnt out this year, but sorry, you were going to say?
But yeah, like with Toro Trans Am on the U.S. side, I've missed 2 races there. My championships, my hopes for a good championship finish are done. I've only missed 1 race on the EU side of things, so I'm still someone in the running for a good finish in there. But I mean, and then it doesn't help that I'm competing in 2 different Trans Am series with 2 different philosophies at the same time. So,
one idea I could suggest, but that does require actually having to use money, is giving like the top 3 participants something that they would be rewarded with, like what I used to do.
I've done that before.
Okay.
But it ended up being very expensive for me because it ended up that was before Ben joined, and it was season 1 of the DTM. No, it was season 2 of the DTM. The year Audi won every race that they showed up to, and they only missed 1 race. But the prize for first place was a year's worth of Xbox Live Gold.
For me, and this offer got turned down quite a bit because personal information, I would basically pay for an actual racing trophy that would be engraved with the person's name, what they won, and then it would be shipped to them, especially if it's overseas. And it's sort of like a physical memento of them participating.
I had thought about that at one point too, but then I came across the same thing that you just said. Some people won't want to give out personal info.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of like the drawback. It's you're actually getting something for participating, but at the same time, you're just some guy over the internet. So
Yeah.
I mean, you could talk to Paul, and he already has 2 trophies that he's won from a few of my events. Yes, sir. So that's just like one idea.
Stunt driver.
And I know one thing that's going to help is the fact is we can go back to what we discussed earlier is the shortening of the V8 schedule, and the fact that there's not a crap ton of off weeks. I think that that's really going to help because Gator has even said to me, when a series misses a week intentionally, he just ends up not wanting to do it. And that's like his main concern with stuff at Tora is like with TASCAR and IndyCar, they miss so many weeks. British GT was like once every month, and I think with
British
keeping
GT,
this,
So,
I'm just
sorry to interject. I was just gonna say sorry to interject, but with the British GT schedule, it was kind of, I think it was trying to replicate the Real Life schedule, and that's like a race every month.
Yeah, but I mean, I was just using it as an example of a series that has a lot of off weeks that he said that he just ended up not wanting to participate because it was so long between races. And as I said, the only off weeks in the series next year will be before and after each endurance. So
Yeah, definitely want to consider a shorter season for next year.
yeah, and that's what it is. It's only 13 races instead of 24.
24.
Yeah. So we've pretty much cut the schedule down by half. And what me and Ben did is when we did initially discuss the schedule is we looked at the racing, the actual quality of racing the track had. Like Hockenheim stayed because that was some of the best racing this series has seen. Sebring stayed, but it moved from its endurance round to a sprint round in favor of VIR. Because VIR is as close to Sandown as we can get. But it stayed because of its good racing. Daytona Oval stays because it produced fantastic racing as well. But yeah. I think definitely now with the tracks that have the best racing being the main focus of the schedule, and we don't have those filler tracks, so to speak, quote unquote. I definitely think we won't have a problem with people missing intentionally too many times. The only issue I have is when people sign up for this series and then they go run another series that they signed up for after they signed up for mine. And holy crap, we got 5 viewers on this thing.
To be honest, I know that feeling very well. You sign for my event, you practice for it, or you show up for one race, and then you either forget or you pretend you've never talked to me.
Yeah. But no one has any other suggestions to increase participation?
Where all do we advertise?
We don't.
Well,
We have a Twitter. And of course, as I
how many
said,
followers does it have?
let me look.
So you're suggesting other
14.
forms of social media, Ben, to get it out?
Well, this is
Like,
going to bring us also
maybe-
kind of overlap into the whole recruitment standards.
Okay.
Maybe like certain advertising places like Reddit or
Oh, Reddit would be good.
Reddit actually would be really good because there's some pretty decent guys who would fit well in here that I've raised over on Reddit Racing. But
Aurora,
I don't know if
whatever
they,
the hell it is.
I don't know if they would be interested in something like this. Just because
Well, if they do,
it's a lot of racing.
yeah.
Like I'm doing a lot of racing, and it's tiring.
Yeah. Well, so we'll go ahead and move into the recruitment standards. And normally it's been invite only. And I kind of want to open that up a little bit, but there's still going to be a point, a bar, where they're going to be, where it's going to be, all right, you are either A, way too fast, or B, you're way too much of an asshole. Or C, you're way too much of both. Yeah.
That's option C. Option D is it's just all the above.
Option C is all the above. You're either way too fast, you're both way too fast and you're an asshole. Because the way I've always been with my series is I don't like it when someone comes in and wins all the races. But here's the thing. And Jay, I'm going to use you as an example here. You're fast.
Okay.
You can win all the races, but you have proven that you are beatable. And you've been beaten. And you've not walked away with every one of them.
Way to increase his ego by 5,000 points there, Porter.
So,
Sorry.
what he's saying is,
Why?
you're
We can barely
an
sit in
amazing
this
driver,
group
we
with
don't
him
want to
alone with his ego.
What I'm saying is Jay, you're fast, but you're not invincible. You're not, yeah. And I hope you don't take that the wrong way, as I don't mean it in a bad way.
I know, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine.
I mean, and Ryan, you're fast, but you're not invincible. We've all got our moments where we're fast, but we're not invincible. And to be fair, 2 seasons ago, back on Forza 4 in the last season of DTM, yeah, I won 6 races. But
I also won 6 races.
yeah, Ben also won 6 races. Colonel won 4 races. That was 18 out of the, I think, 23 races at the time. I think. Yeah, Smiling Ash or Yellowy Chief won 1 or 2. Roll Tide and Buster won the season opener. And I think someone else won 2 others. I don't remember. But yeah. And I mean, as I said, I kind of want to open up the recruitment standards. So what I was thinking is maybe if I could count on people who are already in the league, maybe an open tryouts thing.
Then you would have to set a date, and then you have to get the date to agree with everyone. And
People are gonna want to do a series that involves like tryouts, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And to be
I had
fair,
a
that was
weird
kind of
idea for
something
this.
that was something that Upper Edge did. That, to be fair, it worked for them because it was a NASCAR game and they were the biggest NASCAR series on the console before they f***ed off to iRacing.
I did have one really weird idea that just came to me, but it requires a lot of more work. So, like, let's say we do get the fast people who are unbeatable. Why not put them in their own like point division? Sort of like you got the groups
Like a
who are
sporting
the
regulations?
fastest. Yeah, it would require a lot more work to do, but it seems like it would probably be more equal for people who just they can't keep up with those fast people, but there are people who are like have been in your racing league for a long time, or it seems like they're on the same type of skill level, sort of thing.
So are you suggesting separate
See,
tiers?
that thought had
Yeah.
That's kind
that
of
thought
the
had crossed my mind. But there would have to be some way, maybe to indicate it on the car.
if I may interject,
Nice.
it's sort of the same thing that the VX used to do, and we're probably going to do next year anyway, according to what probably people voted a lot more. That we had two separate tiers. We had a DVS tier, and we had a normal supercar tier. Tier 1 was all the supercars, so that's people who qualified, who's been in the series for long, etc., and has earned their way into the supercar series. Meanwhile, DBS, on the other hand, was the entry level for most people to get into. Or for those who were slow enough, but it was slow enough in the supercars, but were fast enough in the DBS category, sort of like that.
So DBS was kind of like their Super 2 series.
Yeah. We did have a third tier category. That was about we tried it last year. That did not work out as well because apparently there wasn't that many people that showed up.
Yeah. I think honestly, and Zeta, I think I like your suggestion, but honestly, we're going to have a lot more drivers for that. But also, here's
that's why.
Here's another issue with that. Let's say we gave a driver rating to somebody, and we put them in pro category, but they felt like they were pro-am.
Right.
We run the risk of hurting someone's feelings with that. Or crap, I'm trying to figure out what the ACO said, the ACO's terminology is. I can't think of what the ACO has a phrase for it about how drivers, their skill levels are mislabeled when they should be in pro, but they're in pro-am, or they're a silver rated driver, but really and truly they should be a gold or platinum rated driver. But also, I mean, the work involved in that and and all the extra stuff that would have to be put on the docs. As I said, I like the idea, but we would there's a number of entrants where it's too small to do that, and then there's a number of entrants where it's too many to do that.
Right. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's a good idea. It's a good idea in theory.
Paper,
not so
but
much
it's not
in
practical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's good in theory, but it's not.
One thing I thought about,
So-
and I just thought of this. Okay. I'm giving suggestions on people to join. We invite them in, but unbeknownst to them, their first few races are kind of like a mock tryout, but they're actually running in the series. They're on probation, so to speak. That way we're not setting aside a separate tryout. But of course, it would still have to be like what Ben said. Have to have raced with them before. Have to be able to vouch for them and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they're on for maybe their first 3 races or so. They're on probation, but they don't know it. And then after that, a determination's made whether they need either more evaluation or they're in or they're out. And really, the only thing that would get them, that I would say would get them thrown out, is the major things I look for are racecraft and attitude. So if they would come in and they would start knocking people off in the first round, they'd more than likely not be back in the second round. And that's just something that I thought of just now. It's not an official tryout thing. It's happening during the season, and we can even use Vipers as like a feeder series if it comes down to it.
Ooh.
I like that idea.
I love this. That's cool.
Are you sure that you like the idea, Drifter, or you just want to get some
Because I heard everybody go, including Ryan, and then all of a sudden, everybody's like, "Yeah, I like that idea," and Ryan goes, "I love this escort," and so you don't know what the hell he's saying about.
Sorry. I'm sorry. No, that was out of my. I'm sorry. Yeah, I like the idea.
Terrible.
All right.
I know.
Just put yourself for like a couple of minutes. The game's not going anywhere.
But he has experience to earn.
Yes.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry that you're playing 4 days early from the actual release. My bad.
Don't.
I already
Everybody
did.
else is in the same boat.
We'll talk about that
Well,
after
not
we're
me.
done with the driver's meeting.
We'll talk about that after.
Yes, so don't worry about your love for the escort. Alright, Wind Charger, anything else?
Does anybody have anything else to add? Anything like maybe anything you want to suggest for like maybe rule changes or whatnot? I mean, floors the figure to floor is open for discussion.
I got nothing.
Pretty much
I'm a config.
everything that I had to say, I said during our private meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to reiterate my point from earlier. But if people need to try out for a series, they're not going to... Oh, hey, that's the end of the race. Oops. If people are going to try out their series, it's going to kind of turn them off. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure if I... Here, let me modify a previous idea. So, use Vipers as a feeder series, but use it as in, like, hey, we're gonna do this Viper thing. You're welcome to come join us if you want to. Kind of use that as a gauge.
Mm-hmm.
Or who we, quote-unquote, invite to the 8 series, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there's someone at Aurora that I think would do well in the V8 series, so I invite them to like race Vipers or something like that. But the whole thing about driver rating systems and everything, it's just we aren't French. This is more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah, that's what I was telling. That's what I said. It's a good idea on paper, but in practicality, it's.
So
Yeah,
basically,
there's
I'm
a-
saying, yeah, don't go with that idea.
Yeah,
Yeah. I might
people have been telling me to go with that idea
privately.
for years, or
I might
for years,
privately.
but it's way too much.
Yeah, Tora's got so many members that it's way above that line of you can't do this anymore. And right now we've got so few members, we're way below that line before we can even start that. And the area to do that is so small.
Yeah.
So, and then if you let the drivers pick themselves, a pro driver might want to run Pro-Am. And I don't want to do that. So, I might privately go with that, but that would be something that would be never made public.
You said
We'll just
that,
pretend
and
that you
you're going
can
to be
say it.
posting this video to.
I said might. I haven't done it. Because usually by the time I think of something like that and I go to do that, I just go, or my ADD goes, oh no, what about this? Oh yeah, let's do this instead. And I forget. So, it's not, I mean, basically saying it's not worth my time to even attempt to do that privately anyway.
Indeed. Okay. So, I don't really have anything else to contribute. Right, guys? Unless you
There is
just want to
something,
run down what we...
there is something I want to ask you, Zeta. And it's about broadcasting.
Yep.
With your current limited availability, if I found someone who was capable of doing it every night, on the nights you were available, would you be willing to join them in the booth?
Yeah, if they're comfortable with having another person on board. And it might actually provide entertainment for people. I'm trying to get it where I just open for work instead of having to close. So, short answer, yes, if you get another person and they're interested in having another commentator, I am more than happy with that. I thought you were going to ask if I should start doing a televised thing like I've done with other events, then...
Oh, no, because we don't know. No, because we don't... A, we don't have long enough replays. B, the amount of editing that would be is just insane.
Oh, and can I say C, because I know one particular person who doesn't really watch? Don't keep asking me when it's going to be out. Right now, doesn't
It's okay. He's buggered off to iRacing. We're fine.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, I'll actually talk to you two later about that anyways. Sorry, continue.
But yeah, but I will say if you get it to where you open next year, because I said the next season won't start until March 20th with the Clash.
Yeah.
Ben, I want to ask you this as well because Darks are in the booth. He did a decent job with the Clash.
It would depend on his availability.
Yeah, on his availability. But if it's at the point that Zeta is able to do it every night, instead of Zeta being the one that's
Someone you might want to... Well, I suggest you actually go message Darkster about this to see what he says.
that would
But
be my
he's
plan.
trying to get his teams, like, Twitch, like, actually popular and whatnot. So maybe that's something you can offer him as like another series to stream.
Mm-hmm.
Again, do what you want to do, but
Yeah, I'll talk with him about it.
mhm.
It won't be relatively soon because with all of this moving and stuff I've got to do, I've still got to get settled in up in Indiana. But I've got him on Discord. I can message him on there. But
Ben,
yeah.
by chance, do you still use Discord?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I still have the Tor Discord server that's going to become inactive. I'll probably friend you through there.
Okay.
Yo.
You mean
Ow,
now, though.
that hurts. I apologize. But yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely try and work on the media stuff, the media side of it. One of my goals this week is to get the website modernized because I actually have a computer that will actually run.
which ones are we going with? The old one or the Wix one?
I don't
Treasure?
even remember I don't even remember the whole password for the engine one.
Okay.
And I'm not good with forums. I mean, the behind the scenes part of forums. I mean, I got a handle on the Torah forums of what I can do in terms of posting and whatnot, but creating threads, I'm hopelessly lost. So it'll probably be the Wix one.
Okay.
That will mainly be it'll mainly be a medium for news, announcements. Although announcements will also come through Twitter. I'll have to put it up on my wall to be more active on the league Twitter. I know we have a Facebook page, but it's pretty much inactive. Because that spans from back from Forza 4. But yeah, I'll try and get all that sorted and situated this week and whatnot. Anything else anyone wants to add?
I'm good.
I'm
I'm
good.
good too.
Okay. Well, I thank you all for attending the drivers' meeting. To those who are watching this after the fact, again, addressing directly to them, if you have any suggestions, message me. And even those here, if you think of anything after the fact, any suggestions or anything you might want to add, you know where to find me. Y'all have me on Facebook. All right. And that will bring this meeting to a close.